So 2020 has already seen the launch of a couple of super premium handsets that'll cost you over $1,000 a piece, like the Oppo Find X2 Pro and Samsung's Galaxy S20 Ultra. But honestly, these days you don't need to spunk up all of your savings to get yourself a flagship handset. Phones such as the Realme X50 Pro, the Nokia 8.3 5G and the OnePlus 8 serve up premium specs and all of those snazzy features you'd expect for half the price of some of these mega expensive pocket fillers. The latest addition to this affordable flagship lineup is the Motorola Edge, a 550 quid mobile packing trouser moistening design, smart camera hardware and 5G support. I've had this shiny wee beastie stuffed in my shorts for about a week now, using it as my personal handset, so here's my full in-depth Motorola Edge review, and for more on the latest greatest tech, please do plug, subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now first up, if Batman actually had a smartphone slotted into his bat belt, it would almost certainly be this thing here. The Motorola Edge is the blackest phone I've reviewed in a good long while. Seriously, there's not a splash of colour on that reflective surface, and although you will see an occasional unexpected rainbow beam when the light catches it just so. It's definitely a neat and attractive finish, but I would have preferred a choice of at least a couple of different more colourful models as well. Not quite this ready to embrace my inner goth. And I was also rather dubious about Motorola's choice of using plastic for the back end as well, where most rivals tend to go with glass. It does mean that the edge is a lot less likely to crack if you happen to drop it on the floor, but plastic is also a lot more susceptible to scratching, and it hardly feels like a premium material worthy of a flagship handset. And sure enough, that back end is already coated in some light scars after just a week, which isn't a great sign. Although thankfully the Gorilla Glass 5 display has emerged unscathed, despite the lack of a pre-installed screen protector. Oh, and before I forget, the Motorola Edge is also a slippery wee bugger as well. Place it on a table at your peril, because chances are it will casually drift its way to the edge like a lemon, intent on hurling itself into sweet oblivion. And if you ever fancy checking your Instagrams while you're lounging in your jacuzzi, sipping on your Tia Marias or anything like that, well, more bad news. The Motorola Edge isn't water resistant, it's simply water repellent. And thankfully it can take a splash and no worries, so you don't have to freak out if it starts raining or anything, but you definitely don't want to go dropping it in the bathtub. And for the software side of things, you've got a slice of Android 10 action, and as usual with Motorola, there's no heavy launcher slapped on top. And despite that stock version of Android as well, Motorola is only guaranteeing you a single OS update with the Edge. So it will get Android 11 later in 2020, but it may not get Android 12 next year. Of course, Motorola is saying that it constantly reassesses. You'd kind of hope that the Edge and the Edge Plus would get that update to Android 12 as well. But if you are really dead set on getting guaranteed updates, and especially the security updates in a timely fashion, you're probably better off going with something like Nokia. Still, using the Edge is undoubtedly a smooth, satisfying experience. Most of the new features thrown in there by Motorola are worthy additions as usual, from the GameTime tools that enhance your gaming sessions to the screen edge antics making the most of that curved finish. And meanwhile, all of the features that you would expect to come pumped inside of a £500 handset like NFC, dual band Wi-Fi, yada yada yada, all present and correct. Now if you want a more in-depth look at the Motorola Edge software, some of the new features on there such as the screen edge shenanigans, then definitely go check out my full Motorola Edge tips and tricks guide, which is live right now. And if you're into watching movies and shows on the go, then the Edge is really going to baste your turkey, in most respects at least. That curved OLED screen is a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus beast, serving up sharp visuals and punchy colours. You can make those hues pop a little less in the settings, but I really enjoyed those lush colours, especially for my usual Crunchyroll geek out sessions. It is technically an HDR10 supported screen as well, but I did find that in Netflix it was only supported by Widevine L3, not L1, so it wouldn't even stream in HD, let alone HDR. I have asked Motorola to clarify why that's the case and when we can expect full Widevine L1 support here on the Motorola Edge, and when they get back to me I will update you in the description below. And while there is a pinhole camera shoved away in the corner of the Motorola Edge's screen, that's rarely a bother, and you can actually block out that bit of the display for any app you like if it does get on your nerves. And thankfully I didn't have any problems with my palm flesh or my fingers accidentally intruding on that screen, despite the fact that it curves right the way around the edges here. And like all phones around this price point, you've got a nippy refresh rate here on the Motorola Edge's display as well. It automatically switches between 60 and 90 Hz by default, but you can bump it up to 90 Hz permanently without too much of an impact on that battery life. You've also got an in-display fingerprint sensor built into the screen, and that works just fine. It's not the fastest around, but it does the job. And you also have face unlock as well, which won't work with closed eyes or sunglasses, so it's nice and secure. Although once again, it's not the nippiest and it is easily balked by slightly dodgy lighting. As for your audio, well, you've got dual stereo speakers which pack a respectable punch, clearly cutting through even quite noisy shenanigans when you're kicking back with your favourite show. And as well as an actual headphone jack here, you also have Bluetooth 5.1 for connecting to headphones or speakers, with full support for HD audio. Now while some blows around this price point like the Realme X50 Pro for example serve up the top end bitty big bollocks Snapdragon 865 chipset, here on the Motorola Edge you get the 765 instead, and that's backed by 6 gigs of RAM, DDR4, not the more energy efficient DDR5. And right now PUBG Mobile is unfortunately capped at HD detail levels at just 30 frames per second, which is a real shame. Hopefully that'll change soon, but all the same I enjoyed blasting my way through a fair few games in my downtime, or rather those bloody kids enjoy blasting their way through me. Just go back to school already, you little Thankfully Motorola has given you the option of preventing apps from displaying around those curved edges, which is really handy for likes of PUBG Mobile because the responsiveness does tend to get a bit iffy once you get to the curvy bits. And as I briefly mentioned earlier, you also get those nifty GameTime tools as well, which actually do help out and help keep you immersed in the experience. Sure, this feature isn't as complex as some rival game modes as found on the likes of ColorOS, but you can block notifications and quickly call up apps like Discord when you need to while you're in the middle of an online bout. I was surprised at the effectiveness of the virtual trigger feature here as well, which you can pop up on the top edge and assign to any on-screen controls that you like. This was definitely very handy for aiming and shooting during those more frantic PUBG moments. And if you care about 5G, the good news is the Motorola Edge has sub 6 GHz 5G support here in the UK, and provider O2 is promising up to 50 UK cities should be covered by around summertime, so as long as you don't live out in the countryside or in some crap little town, you might well have support later this year. I'm also definitely a fan of the battery life here on the Motorola Edge. That 4500 mAh cell happily keeps you going all day long, even if you're Skyping, gaming and piddling about with those cameras. Seriously, I had to try really hard to kill this thing before I got all snuggled up in bed come the end of a busy day, and even then I really did struggle. Although sadly the 18-watt charging speeds do leave a lot to be desired, especially in these days of 65-watt fast charging beasts. It definitely is no longer deserving of that turbo power moniker. No worries on the storage tip though, as the 128 gigs of space can be boosted with a micro SD memory card up to 1 TB in size. Back of the net. Now here on the back end of the Motorola Edge you've got a triple lens camera setup, and when you want to snap some photos, that 64 megapixel primary lens does a reasonable job as long as the lighting conditions aren't too dodgy. You get 16 megapixel photos served up by default, and these are still detailed enough to look sharp when viewed back on a laptop or a telly or whatever. However, the Motorola Edge is easily confounded by bright scenes, often oversaturating the results so your colours look a bit bland, while HDR pics are also inferior to many other flagship handsets. In these scenarios, you're best off swapping to the 16 megapixel ultra-wide angle lens, which has a smaller aperture and therefore does a much better job of realistically reproducing those more vibrant hues. This also doubles as a macro lens for up-close shots of flowers or bugs or whatever, if that's your bag. Alternatively, the Moto Edge serves up an 8 megapixel telephoto lens with a 2x optical zoom for getting a bit closer to your subject. It's rather limited compared with rivals like the Realme X3 SuperZoom with its mega 5x zoom, and things do get proper grainy if you try to punch in with that digital zoom as well, but it's still handy when you're snapping kids, animals, stuff like that. Speaking of which, the 64 megapixel primary shooter is good when snapping moving subjects, and you can even capture photos at maximum resolution as well using a bonus mode. As usual though, the difference is only really evident once you zoom right in. And Motorola has also served up its usual AI smarts as well, and this doesn't just suggest alternative camera modes when appropriate, it'll also help to sort out any wonky shots and also serve up little features like a level whenever you're shooting a nice bit of vista action. Video is a similar story to the photos. Your footage can look a little bleached on a sunny day, but at that 4K level you'll get fine results. Audio pickup is nice and clear except on windy days, and the image stabilization is pretty good even at 4K for moving and shooting at the same time. You can only use the primary lens for 4K res video, but dropping to full HD at the 30 FPS level brings the ultra wide angle and the telephoto lenses into play too, although you can't actually swap between them all while shooting. You've also got a handful of bonus modes, including a respectable portrait mode, Motorola's funky spot colour effort, and a welcome return for the night vision mode as well, which helps to brighten up any shots in low light conditions. And last up, the 25 megapixel front facing camera does a perfectly fine job of snapping your mug with full portrait mode smarts. Again, just avoid any dodgy lighting and you'll do well. So that right there is what I think of the Motorola Edge after using it as my full-time smartphone for a week. Definitely some clever tech in there, not bad at all for that £550 price point, although of course it does have very strong competition from likes of the Realme X50 Pro, which is a very good handset indeed, again offering strong value for money. And don't forget, Nokia's 8.3 5G is just on the horizon as well, offering very similar specs and features. So what do you reckon? It would definitely be great to hear your thoughts down in the comments below, especially if you've been using the Motorola Edge yourself as well. And please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech. Cheers everyone.